Hey there, my name is Justin Massengill, and I'm here to tell you about a project that my great-granddad and I did that was the culmination of 3 summers, or the better part of 3 summers, I guess you'd call it 2.5, but it was a very educational and life-changing experience, because without this, I have no idea what I would be doing for a career path. It all started when I was about maybe 10 years old, and I was messing around on YouTube, and I see a video of this thing called a sandrail. It is, as you see it, this is a higher grade one that is a tubing frame, floorboards, steering, suspension, engine, gas tank, battery, all it takes to get a vehicle moving and stop. And that's it. There is no AC, there's no power brakes, there's no power steering. It's designed almost specifically to run on sand dunes. So it is built very, very light. And people tend to do stuff like this with it because it is so light. You try and do that with a truck and it breaks in half. And if you roll it, you're strapped in and you have a full roll cage, so it just kind of keeps rolling. You get out, flip it back upright, and leave. They tend to make these out of rear engine vehicles because it's good on sand and weight distribution is correct. Well, I asked my great-granddad, a 90-year-old man that had survived the landings at Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge, what he would want to do, and he's been a mechanic for most of his life, and he said, get a Volkswagen. They are as simple as it gets, and you want to be able to get home if you're out in the middle of nowhere and something breaks, which tends to happen. Yeah, a lot of people have a funny view on Volkswagens, like Herbie here, but they do float, and they are very durable little engines. They are designed to keep going and going and going. In fact, when Volkswagen started making them, they would give away a Swiss watch every time one of them rolled 100,000 miles. Now keep in mind this is in the 70s and that didn't happen very often. But they had to stop doing it because it was breaking them. They couldn't afford to do it. So I got one. Went on Craigslist, and I think it was the 3rd or 4th posting was a VW sandrail with no motor and no gas tank and no battery. So we took a look at it, and he wanted 400. We offered 3. We drive over to he was in Pagosa. We met him in Durango, and drove it home for $300. Drug it home because it didn't have a motor. As I said, it was missing some parts. It's as it sits right there, and there's a few pieces missing. That's not going anywhere under its own power. But that was the idea. It's a learning experience. Well, over my great-granddad's time as a mechanic, he had gotten very into Volkswagens. He saw the original version kicking around after World War II in Germany, doing its thing there. He came back stateside and got into them once they started shipping them here because he almost fell in love with them. They were great on snow, good on gas mileage, just all around decent cars, not very good by today's standards. They didn't have much horsepower. Some people called them gutless wonders, but they were good cars. They wouldn't die. So we go out into his junkyard. He calls it an equipment yard, but that's his opinion, and we fish out a motor. We go out and we turn it with a wrench, and it seems to turn pretty well. It's rough in a couple of spots, which what do you expect? It's been sitting there for how long? And we go back and start looking, and somebody had stored it without the spark plug in the number 3 cylinder. So water got in and rusted it. So we had some work to do. So we ended up fishing a bunch of parts out of there and trying our best to make them fit together. Some of them did not fit correctly, so we had to modify them to where they would. And some we just didn't have. because they were plastic and got destroyed. On the right, you see our fuel delivery system for our first run. That is a 1.5 liter wine bottle with AC tubing, siphoning gas to the side of the carburetor. You can't do that with a Chevy at all. It does not work. I've tried it. On the left, you see a master cylinder, and that supplies power to your brakes from your pedal. And it makes the car stop, basically, but the reservoir sat out in the sun, cracked, and died. So we had to make one. It's a Smucker's jam jar with a piece of copper tubing stuck through the lid of it, upside down, used as a brake fluid reservoir. Well, it kind of worked.
Like about 10 acres. Yeah, I know. We're kind of in the road. Goldie, hold on to your sock.
Get off the sidewalk. Here comes Justin.
That's so cute. Oh my God, it's just fun.
Well, that was the first run after Great Granddad had taken it on a tootle just to make sure all was satisfactory and it would stop. And that was me driving it around the yard. But that was the day I had to fly back to Texas at the end of the summer. So we had to take a photo of that, and it was just a very happy moment, and everything worked and reasonably well. Anyway, I still have that photo as my cover photo. And one of the things is Great Granddad had not done that sort of thing for 30 years and wanted to see if he still could. Well, clearly he could, and he had as much fun as I did, getting covered in grease up to the elbows for 4 days a week for 6 weeks. It was great. That there was a lovely video of me splashing through the mud up in the mountains in the Frankenwagen because we're a little short on dunes around here. So long and short, I built a 4-wheeled death machine with my great-grandfather. My mother endorsed it, and it was a great learning experience. I am still using some of that knowledge today in my automotive classes. It was a great learning experience. So great stuff. And here's a short summary. It was everything a crazy kid like me likes to do. So, and how many kids can say they got to build something like that with their 90-year-old great-grandfather that is still up and kicking around? It's amazing, really. Not many kids get to do that. Well, thank you for your time. Hope you have a great day. And, yeah, just have a great day.